President Trump signed a total of 10 executive orders and presidential memorandums. 6 previous executive orders related to Syria sanctions were revoked. A key theme this week was energy and infrastructure, with multiple presidential memorandums focused on streamlining funding for energy infrastructure and critical mineral projects. These directives affect various departments including the Agency for International Development, Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense, Department of Energy, Department of State, Department of the Interior, Department of the Treasury, Department of Transportation, Environmental Protection Agency, Office of Management and Budget, and the Small Business Administration. 3 presidential permits were issued to Steel Reef U.S. Pipelines, South Bow USA LP, and Junction Pipeline Company, LLC, authorizing them to operate and maintain pipeline facilities at the United States-Canada border for the export or import of natural gas liquids, hydrocarbons, crude oil and petroleum products in North Dakota and Montana. These actions involve the Department of Transportation and affect infrastructure, energy, and trade policies and international trade. South Bow's permit supersedes and revokes a permit from July 29, 2020, while Junction Pipeline Company's permit amends an application from April 8, 2021. Steel Reef U.S. Pipelines LLC permit amends the application dated February 23, 2022. In foreign policy, President Trump revoked existing sanctions on Syria via an executive order but expanded the scope of Executive Order 13,894 to maintain accountability for the former Bashar al-Assad regime, targeting those involved in war crimes and human rights abuses. Actions by the Secretaries of State, Treasury, and Commerce are directed. A reissued and amended National Security Presidential Memorandum No. 5 addressed United States policy toward Cuba, focusing on promoting freedom and limiting financial benefits to the Cuban government, also affecting the United Nations. Executive Order 14,311 establishes a White House Office for Special Peace Missions. Domestically, an executive order aims to improve national parks by increasing revenue through fees for non-residents while improving affordability for U.S. residents. The Department of the Interior is primarily affected. Additionally, the President's Make America Beautiful Again Commission was established to prioritize responsible conservation and promote outdoor recreation. This executive order also revokes the Presidential Memorandum of January 12, 2017, promoting diversity and inclusion in national parks. On July 2nd, a proclamation was issued commemorating the 160th anniversary of the United States Secret Service, acknowledging its agents' bravery and dedication. Turning to litigation, there were no updates to the following cases. O.Do., Brazilian Worker Center, Incorporated. La Colaborativa versus Donald J. Trump, et al., in the District of Massachusetts, Case Number 125, CV1-0135 LTS. First Circuit Case Number 251169, concerning Birthright Citizenship Executive Order 14,160, where a group of non-citizen pregnant women sued, alleging the executive order. New York Immigration Coalition versus Trump, et al., in the Southern District of New York, Case Number 125, CVO1309, also concerning Birthright Citizenship Executive Order 14,160, where a coalition of immigrant and refugee organizations sued to block the executive order revoking birthright citizenship. Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services versus Noam in the District of Columbia, Case Number 125, CV00306, regarding Proclamation 10,888, which disallows immigrants from remaining in the United States while pursuing asylum claims. DVD versus United States Department of Homeland Security in the District of Massachusetts, Case Number 125, CV10676, First Circuit Case Number 251311, challenging the practice of deporting non-citizens to a third country without notice. Nemeth Greenleaf et al. Versus Office of Personnel Management et al. In the District of Columbia, Case Number 125 CV00407, concerning the disclosure of personal and financial records to the Department of Government Efficiency. United States Institute of Peace versus Jackson in the District of Columbia, Case Number 125 CV00804, involving actions toward the United States Institute of Peace. Perkins Coie LLP versus U.S. Department of Justice in the District of Columbia, Case Number 125, CV00716, concerning Executive Order 14,230, where the law firm sued over the termination of government contracts and denial of access to federal employees. Doctors for America versus Office of Personnel Management et al. In the District of Columbia, case number 125, CV00322, challenging the removal of information from Health and Human Services websites under Executive Order 14,168. Surrey versus Trump in the Eastern District of Virginia, case number 125, CV00480, regarding habeas corpus and removal of protesters under Executive Order 14,161 and Executive Order 14,188. Boyle versus Trump in the District of Maryland, case number 825, CV01628, challenging the removal of U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission commissioners. Dvortson as next friend of Hayam El-Gamal et al., petitioner, versus Noam in the Northern District of Texas, case number 525, CV00664, previously case number 125, CV01741 in the District of Colorado, concerning Immigration and Customs Enforcement detaining the family of an individual charged with an incendiary attack. Goodman versus Lutnick in the District of Maryland, case number 825, CV02097, concerning large-scale reductions in force, termination of probationary employees under Executive Order 14,210, where former employees of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration protest their terminations. State of New York versus Kennedy in the District of Rhode Island, case number 125, CV00196, concerning large-scale reductions in force / termination of probationary employees under Executive Order 14,210, where 19 states are challenging Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's directive firing thousands of Health and Human Services workers. State of Washington versus United States Department of Education in the Western District of Washington, case number 225, CV01228, concerning the denial of federal grants for school mental health services. Haitian Evangelical Clergy Association versus Trump in the Eastern District of New York, case number 125, CV01464, concerning the Department of Homeland Security's revocation of temporary protected status for Haitians. State of California et al. Versus U.S. Department of Health and Human Services et al. In the Northern District of California, case number 325, CV05536, concerning Internal Revenue Service and Medicaid data sharing for immigration enforcement purposes under Executive Orders 14,165, 14,159, and 14,158. Rural Development Innovations Limited versus Morocco in the District of Columbia, case number 125, CV01631, concerning dismantling the U.S. African Development Foundation under Executive Order 14,217. City of Columbus et al. Versus Robert F. Kennedy Jr. et al. In the District of Maryland, case number 125, CV02114, concerning access to health care and challenging the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, implementation of new rules that significantly undermine the availability of insurance under the Affordable Care Act, ACA. Perdomo versus Noam et al. In the Central District of California, case number 05605 MEMFSP, concerning ICE stops and arrests, where residents of Los Angeles are challenging an alleged practice of unconstitutional immigration raids. For full details on these executive actions and court cases, please refer to the 47 POTUS app. This summary was created by 47 POTUS and narrated by an automated voice.